Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
All right, guys. I think today's going to be a busy day. I kind of felt that was going to be the case. And so smaller videos, multiple ones coming out. Will be one going up on Patreon exclusively after this one, unless something else big happens and we have to shift gears. But one of the helicopters carrying President Raisi is believed to have crashed. Now, many reports coming out, and so very, very cautious to handle this properly because they pulled one of our videos from EEARTS recently, and you know what it was? It was the video saying, did Mavis just exit the world? Yeah, they pulled that one about, the Saudi prince there. And the reality is, I've been looking every day to try to see if I could find any pictures of him in public, and I don't see anywhere where he's shown up in public lately. So I'm still suspicious about that one. I really am. And, of course, they're saying that he wasn't really killed, the Saudi prince, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. Yet here, multiple sources are saying President Raisi is, at least his helicopter has crashed, as you see here. This is in East Azerbaijan. Now, Azerbaijan's a tense area. Azerbaijan, Armenia have had this ongoing warring atmosphere for a long time. This is a hot area that could absolutely explode anytime, and I do expect it to flare up again in the bigger scheme of things. The rescuers in Iran are trying to reach the helicopter that went down. And here's another one from Iran International English. This is the first and only 24/7 news service for Iranians. Again, chopper crashed. Now, when you, there we go. We're going to go to that next. When you just look at the newest reports, helicopter's been lost. This one says IRNA confirmed that President Raisi was on board the helicopter, and rescue teams have yet to determine the location of the accident due to poor weather conditions. So, asking Cindy, what do you feel with this?
Instantly I got this clenching in my throat chakra, solar plexus, a lot of fear. So I do think that, he was definitely involved in it. But the problem is I don't see anything after that. It's like everything goes black. And that's where I'm at the moment. We'll have to see really how things unfold. I think if this was an attempt and he actually heard about it, I think there's being efforts to hide him. I think if he was in that crash, then that was probably the last thing that he felt. And right now there's still processes going on, of the body either struggling or the body and the soul separating. So we'll have to see what comes out now.
Yeah, and over the years, we've been around a lot of, separations of, a lot of situations where we've either been where people have passed on. There is this feel, and there's things that you can sense. And it's again part of going into the Bronze Age, because the Bronze Age is one in which things are not easily hidden anymore. And there's a lot of reason for everything that you see going on right now. I think right here, again, this is one thing that Cindy picked up immediately and said to me, I wonder if this is one of the assassinations that Alois was speaking about. And I think, again, we don't know with Mohammed bin Salman, and we don't know, nothing official. I mean, there's been denying it, but he spoke of three major assassinations, and the third one that he described in detail involved migrants and a knife and it's in the Balkans, and we really were feeling that it could be the president of Serbia that gets it. In that case, that's what it felt like. But they say he's in his prophecy, the war happens immediately after that. Boom. And it's on, and Russia's going, and China attacks into the U.S. They obviously, they pulled our video on EEARTS, and it's interesting to see that it kind of, and that was only on YouTube. So that video is still on Patreon. It's still on Ko-Fi. It's still, I believe, on Brighteon, Bitchute, and Rumble too. So obviously they want to hide something, and again, it's because this is all about timing and maximizing their effect with their timing. So we'll keep an eye on this. It's going to be a busy day. Going back to this, I had that out of order. Sorry, guys. This is mind-blowing footage of an immigrant camp. Yeah, it looks so dysfunctional. Actually, we've seen stuff like this popping up in Texas and many locations, the Darien Gap, of course. The world is pushing back. This is the thing. The world is pushing back. And these people are so about ego and about themselves. Each one of these beings is about themselves. They look at it like they're in this exclusive club. And they're for that term that Steven Seagal had in that movie, above the law. Well, they're above all laws is how they feel. And to the point where they'll blatantly tell us of activity that's illegal, and then nothing happens because they're in that exclusive club. And this is saying Ireland's under attack. Yeah, it's the whole real NATO and the U.S., but it's really the world. It's humanity. It's understanding that if we could get to the point where we could remove ourselves from the emotion, because yes, it does. It's traumatic when your whole world gets turned upside down, and you're in your hometown, which has been a certain way forever, and it's totally turned upside down, and you don't even recognize it anymore. It's understandable. It's even worse when that town is razed and burned to the ground. Such has happened in Iraq and in Syria and in Afghanistan too, and many other places. Many places in Africa have suffered, and people don't even know of what's gone on in some of these locations and what's still going on, as we're going to be talking about that in the second video to come. Here, is it fair? No, it's not fair. 14,000 homeless Irish people living in the streets, and here they're rolling in houses that are going to be given as free housing, brand new houses. The reality is, everybody could have a brand new house. And this globe, with the money that we spend on killing each other that keeps the power structure in place, everybody could live a good standard of living. There's no reason for any of this other than the fact that all the wealth is consolidated in the hands of the few. And understanding that has led to revolutions. But what did it lead to? It led to the communist revolutions, which led to just another dictatorship. It doesn't lead anywhere. And this is what they count on. They count on us taking out ourselves. And we got to look at the immigrants coming off the buses also as part of our big human extended family, because they are. And in many cases, their houses, everything has been destroyed over where they were, or the economic situations like in Venezuela was devastated by the U.S. sanctions in the EU, etc. And so, they're looking for a better place. And a lot of them are angry. Make no bones about it. A lot of them are extremely angry. And some are just simply soldiers, hired guns, that are looking to exact revenge on the great Satan, quote unquote. Majority are not, but a big percentage is. And now there's tens of millions of them. And meanwhile, you have so many people, and the fastest growing religion on the planet, which is Islam, that are here in the U.S. and other EU nations, that, if it comes out that Israel took out this chopper again, you're going to get, and this is what they're counting on, get the people in place and then make them mad. As Cindy was saying, put the red ants and the black ants together and then shake the whole box, because after all, we're living on an alien ant farm.
I know I see things like this, and then I hear other people say, oh, don't worry, the white hats are in charge. Well, this is what we have with white hats are in charge. It falls on our shoulders. We're the ones who have to make the change. We can't sit back and think that one party is going to take care of anything, because they're both in on it. Very, very much so. And, you see them rolling in the new houses. Who's in charge of that? Who's in charge? Where's the fairness in it? Where is the okayness in that? Both parties are doing it. So to root for one party or the other, it's not working. We have to really put our shoulders up and put our heads up and do what we can to stop supporting both parties to a very high degree until they don't have the support they need to be rolling in all the new houses for other people and not be taking care of their own here right where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we have Abbott again, Governor Abbott, who's 66, by the way. I guess it must be recently. They put Abbott 66. Sending them elsewhere. So, again, sending them to their destinations where some of them can be turned on and weaponized. There's been lots of reports of the fact that there's guns in place. And a lot of people have wondered, well, what was the IRS buying all those guns for? Where were they putting them? And, again, it's all part of the bigger plan where they use our tax dollars to basically attack us. This is just so obvious. And it's also obvious this is not the same guy. There's multiple. I think there's, again, 7 is what we've gotten. Literally 7 beings portraying President 46. 7. It's not even close. This explains a lot. This explains why the CDC plans to expand on fluoride. It's not because they think everybody's getting cavities. By the way, steer clear. You have to get clean. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but then at the same time, our own Miss Deborah Hill over on Patreon, just want to say, Deborah, 66, and she feels like she's turning into the best version of herself. It's never too late. This is what cleaning up your life will do. And now is the time to be as clean as possible. They show you things in order to get you to buy into their ideals. How about P. Diddy? Whoever thought P. Diddy was anything? Everything about today's culture that's given to us that we see in these shows at halftimes and stuff, it's vomitous. It's disgusting. It's vile. It's so outright egregious in any way, shape, and form. I really do feel bad for the kids in a sense growing up in this time, because and this is exactly how my mom said to me, it was good when we were kids because we never locked our doors. You trusted people more. But now, this is part of the shifting from that dark Kali Yuga where it was all in the shadows and hidden. And people really legitimately thought that, even a president was really wearing a white hat. Yeah, I think that stopped maybe with Reagan. There were people that almost worshipped Reagan. But there he was at Bohemian Grove. He was one of them too. He was just an actor. And so more fluoride because they're waking up too fast.
Mm-hmm. It's been noted in a lot of CIA documents, and I wish I could find them again, but they knew back in the 80s, and I think that's I think that's probably fairly recent, actually, that the population would start to wake up, and they would need to find various ways to keep them asleep so that they wouldn't kind of do their own thing. They don't want people doing their own thing. They need to steer people in a certain direction, very much so. And then Mike was showing me like the song lyrics from back in the 70s about women, and then song lyrics today about women. And I mean, it's just so stark. It's night and day what they're trying to do to our cultures.
Yeah, and let me just show you this too. Look at, they're trying to say, truth about fluoride doesn't include the Nazi myth. Oh, it's a myth. Fact finders say, you guys, people are waking up. You've lost that war. You've lost that information war. You can't hide it anymore. Just kind of give it up. Give it up. It's, the jig is up. And we know the whole hip hop culture was basically created by the FBI, CIA, purposely to degenerate people and to bring it down. And I'm not saying that every single rapper is part of that. No, again, a lot of times people don't understand. They really just don't have a clue what, they're just truly being manipulated as puppets, and they don't know. Yet, it's probably the one type of music that I cannot get into. And I love music so much. And why do all these UFOs, I was supposed to say bull-eyed, it's just a meteor. Yeah, why do they all behave exactly the same way as they go overhead? This is in Portugal. Beautiful sighting. As they go to warp speed and kind of leave the area, it's again because these are ships. Sometimes they're actually beings, literally. Okay, so we got a 6.0 up in Alaska, 28 kilometers deep. We have a 5.2 down in Mexico. What we haven't had is any big quakes from all that energy from the sun. I do think Mother Earth is trying to do her best to keep us safe because, again, we're her children. That's the reality. We're part of her, and she wants, this is her choice, is to cultivate life. And she wants to be a nurturing, loving mother. But what we do have is definitely an uptick. As you see, they're showing 409 quakes, the USGS is. And a big uptick on the West Coast, in particular in California. So if we're zooming into Cali, I've been watching this one, and our beloved Special K, our dear sister, was mentioning, this one right on the border. Remember, we had the swarm just south of the border. So right now, if you omit those, we got 256 quakes basically in Cali here in 24 hours, one right below the border. And a large portion are in this Mexicali area, as you can see this cluster. Now, I've seen this go haywire before. This right now has 157 quakes. There's a lot of stress and pressure building up, and it has not been released. All that from all those solar flares, the CMEs that came and impacted us, to see nothing big, no like 7.3 here, 7.5 there, 2 or 3 in the 7s, I would expect at minimum, and we haven't seen anything. So to me, that's kind of on the ominous side. Now, you like to see little ones to release, and up here in the geysers, really common area to see. Now, we had a lot of quakes in Nevada, and at the moment, it's clear. So that's kind of curious as well. And then there was a lot of quakes going on through Idaho and Montana, and that's calmed down. I feel that there is a building, a big building going on. Now, yesterday there was a curious one last night. Let's zoom in over here too. I mean, nothing big, but this is a 2.0 in Georgia. And if we go out, You see there was also this one down here, 2.2 in Lagrange. That reminds me of ZZ Top. I always look at the curious ones, the ones that kind of are really out of the norm, to see if there's anything that we should be of note. But biggest thing I take away from that is the swarming going on, the fact that, that 6.0, even in the sixes, we haven't had a lot of sixes. We really, really haven't. I mean, this has not released, and that does feel pretty ominous. And today, astrologically, is a day. This is the day that Joni Petri, the Vedic astrologer that we follow, was saying today and into tomorrow. She was kind of saying, just be extra cautious because of the astrological impact, and also geopolitical. And so maybe it's what she was picking up was in regards to Iran. And again, the control system wants that WW3, even though humanity doesn't as a whole. Just that's a tiny small section of psychopaths in the world that want this to happen. So again, be careful, guys. And the sun, look at it taking a little nap. Oh, look at this. What's going on? Well, again, that other real active area is away from us at the moment. KP is back down to 2. We went up to 6. So it's coming. It's coming. We're just going to be cautious, put out our best intentions. We've been getting a lot of different information from the guides that we're going to go down some rabbit holes with, and we'll be doing quite a bit on Heart's OMMM, because there's a lot to be explored on the spiritual side of things.
Mm-hmm. And I saw so much go on with the sun, and I saw the sun sneezing so much, and I saw a lot of people really worried about our structure, and I don't want to jinx anything, knock on wood, and I'm knocking on wood right now, but not a lot happened. I mean, for the sun to be pinned at the KP, and the worst we saw is someone had trouble going live, and another friend, her phone just went on the circle thing. It was buffering. She had a hard time watching videos on YT. That, we didn't see a whole lot of outages like they were saying that would happen. But I just because I say that, I don't want people to be any less prepared. Make sure you have gas for your machines, or make sure, if you have any kind of something to keep the electricity on in your house, make sure that's charged up. But it was just curious because there was a lot of talk that like the whole grid was going to come down, and then it didn't. So I think we're stronger than we think we are. I think we're much stronger. And I think a lot of people have big hearts and they have a lot of hope. And I think there was a lot of prayers, and I think there was a shield over humanity in a really big way, because we don't want this. I mean, every time something does happen and the power goes out here, it's like my stomach sinks because I know I'm not completely ready. And I think most people are like that, because how could you be ready for the, I don't know, gazillion different things that could go wrong? How could you prepare for that unless you're a bazillionaire? And we definitely are not. But just keep up the prayers, keep up the good work, keep holding the light, keep the shield over humanity, and we'll all walk out of this together some way, somehow, and things will get better. It's just kind of a rough go right now.
As always, guys, much love, source bless, and namaste.
Namaste.